Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Dai's Opinions. I have decided that I needed a hobby to pass the time, and since there doesn't seem to be many females reviewing things on YouTube, I decided I should give it a shot. I will be reviewing a variety of things books, movies, music, anime, etc., and I'll try and give my honest opinions on each and every one of the things I review. I am a very opinionated person, and I've always wanted to create something, to put my words out to people. But I am also open to hearing other people's opinions as well, since obviously I'm not the only person with opinions on this planet. So if you have anything to say about my reviews, feel free to comment or message me. My first review will be The Lion King 2. Yes, I'm serious, The Lion King 2. I feel that this movie is so unappreciated and has pretty much been forgotten under the oh-so-glorious Disney classic, The Lion King. Don't get me wrong, I love The Lion King, but I feel that The Lion King 2 holds up a much stronger story and characters than Lion King itself, with characters from the previous film showing tremendous amounts of character growth, while new characters being profoundly interesting. The film centers around Simba and Nala's daughter, Kiara, who strongly falls in love with Kovu, a male lion who was raised in the pride of Scar's followers and Simba's enemies, the Outsiders. Desperate to be together, they must overcome the two obstacles that are keeping them apart. Kovu's mother, Zira, the Outsiders' leader, and an extreme hater of anyone who disliked Scar, since she is a bit obsessed with him, and Simba's prejudices against the Outsiders. It also centers around Simba's father-daughter relationship with Kiara, which I think is brilliant. Simba is now ironically an overprotective parent in this film, which makes complete sense. Simba has grown tremendously from the first film, and does not want the things that have happened to him happen to his own daughter, thus he is protective. Almost all the characters from the previous film have grown, even Timon and Pumbaa, who have now taken on a protective uncle role for Kiara, which in my opinion suits them really well. Now in this sequel, you're either going to love or hate all the references and tidbits from the first film that are scattered throughout this movie. I won't spoil any moments, but there are some scenes that are obviously trying to one-up scenes from the first film. But honestly, if you don't compare the films together and put The Lion King 2 in its own separate place, I think it stands well on its own. Now, to talk about the villain, Zira. I love this character. She is a badass. She has a reason to be evil and is obsessed with Scar. She's my most favorite Disney villain of all time, because she has to put up with so much bullshit in her life. Zira has a reason to be upset with Simba. And although her hate consumed her and eventually was her downfall in the end, she and her pack were still banished from the Pride Lands, where they had very little resources and only had their hate for Simba to keep them going just to survive. Or at least for Zira anyway. Now, I must admit, there are a few plot holes in this movie. For one, where did all these followers of Scar come from? Scar had no children or interest in female lions in the first film. In fact, Kovu wasn't even Scar's child, which they state throughout the movie. So if Kovu wasn't Scar's child, and Zira wasn't his lover, why all this devotion? They state that Kovu was a favorite of Scar, but how? In The Lion King, he had no lion followers to speak of. They all hated him. And why didn't they make Kovu Scar's child to begin with? It would have made more sense. There isn't much of a reason for him not to be. Other than that, though, I really enjoy this film. The villain is fantastic, the love story is adorable, and the quality of the film is just as good, and I think even better, than the original. If you haven't watched it already, I really recommend you should, and watch it with an open mind, because it really does deserve a bit more love than it gets. I give this movie a 7 out of 10, because even though it's one of my most favorite Disney films, it still has flaws. Thanks for listening, and I hope you liked my first review.